people here.
Yeah, if you want me to just turn around, if you can pop in the head. Is this calm? Is this?
It's like a fucking wall.
To attend today's trial.
Is there a way that I can solve this?
Well, that's what you normally, you know, just get some sleep. Takes care of it.
If you do it, you just let me know if my hat gets in the way.
Hey, Trudon.
Oh, it's not a problem, but thank you.
Well, you wish to attend today's trial?
I've been training for 5 nights. So
Ciao.
Alright, we just got 2 search pockets.
under.
Okay.
Sorry.
Walk away, I get it. We got stuff for you.
Oh, there we went.
Let's just work real hard on that.
It looks great. Grazie.
Okay, you got all these metal tools gotta go.
Alright, you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's just a fun of...
Hello, Sheriff.
It's okay, girl. Come with me. Let me show you something.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You wanna get up here? Oh.
I think we have one more that wants to come in, but he's with Robin right now.
Alright.
Learning how to open his pockets.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, let me open
You
my
wish
pockets.
to attend today's trial?
Yes, of course.
Alright, you're all set.
Okay. Grazie,
Thank
signore.
you.
I should close my pockets, huh? Fuck. How's this gonna go? Why is that guy sitting in the middle? Trial.
Dominic. Please get off of the roof.
They're really locking it
Back
down.
here.
They're really locking
Is
it
it
down.
on the roof?
Coming right over.
Oh.
Almost learned how to do it.
Alright.
That's
Get
fine.
off the roof.
You're not on the roof.
I feel so naked.
We push Miss Kate's buttons.
I guess.
Cass isn't there because of work.
Just not on the roof, guys.
He wasn't supposed to be working today, and now he is.
She wear
So
buttons. She got a sash.
it's thrown everything off.
I think it's a metaphor.
She's got a belly button.
You don't need to
Is that
Do you have
Jimmy?
a preferred person to be your bailiff?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Jimmy. You drink grown-up milk, right?
Whoever we can spare on the inside.
Alright, I can do that.
Yeah, I can.
Alright,
My
go
name is.
ahead. Go ahead. Your name is...
I could be a bailiff.
Okay, you wish
When
to
you pull someone in from
attend
the
today's
outside,
trial?
we can have JJ come in.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
I'd love to.
I'm
Could you?
sorry, it's
Yes,
trial
could
and
you?
error.
I'm gonna run to the washroom while we sit here.
We could
And,
search your pocket.
I'm just in the washroom while we wait here. I'll be right
I'm
back.
trying to hang him by his neck.
Is JJ out here?
Oh, alright.
Yes, he is.
Judge
down
was
this way.
asking if he would be the bailiff.
Alright, hold on, let me check. Pardon me, sir.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to do anything?
I got other
I need to
Yes.
search your pockets before you can go in.
Sure. Do I have to do anything, or you can? You're,
You have to
you're allowed
surrender
to
yourself.
Nice.
Yes, you have to surrender
Mitchell, come
yourself
up
so
here.
that.
Alright. Don't take 10. Take a few.
Look at this shit.
Yep, I got you.
Blocking me path. Cause you're all bad shots or
Can you
something.
try it?
You ain't even supposed to be doing that, of course. I hope you know.
Can you
But
try it? Can you try it now? Just get in my pocket.
the judge of this here trial is from Sundance. I ain't never
Alright,
gonna be
you're
tried
all
fairly
set.
from anybody from Sundance.
Thank you.
So,
Mr. Cass.
y'all
No.
can go fuck
No,
yourselves.
no.
Cass.
Thank you.
Sundance has a death vendetta against
Go
me.
up there.
Yard.
Billy.
Cash, I brought the cash.
Can you access them at all? I'll just take the narcotics then. Okay.
Run off. What's gonna happen is they're gonna judge
Do you mind if I sit here?
fraud, and therefore you're not
No, go ahead.
For what is your innocence. And therefore, then they will say that you're guilty, and then they all run out like a bunch of buffoons with a bunch of guns in their hand, and they're gonna shoot you and anybody else around you. You saw what they did yesterday. Total shit show. Now imagine that around your friends and family.
Hold on. Is Denton there? I want to speak to him.
Hold on now.
He is.
Sheriff Cass is here.
Hey.
Wants to talk to you.
Yes?
Alright, Robin, he's clear. His pockets,
They're gonna come out
no,
from
he's good.
anyways.
His pockets, were an opening.
But that's smart.
What can I do for you?
So he's good to go in.
Person should never go down
Why is
without a fight.
Sundance
I agree.
my justice? You know damn well they have a death warrant against me.
You knew this ahead of time.
Well, I'll be in me bunker. Come and get me.
Quick question.
Have a good day, Mr.
Alright.
Cat's Grant.
Am I clear?
Coward!
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
He's good going.
Sheriff, was that
the defendant?
Yes, it was.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna
He said
take
he's
that
not
to mean
going
that
And he is refusing to
not
enter the
gonna
courtroom?
show up.
Correct.
Yes,
because you're
I
from
believe his
Sundance.
exact words were, "I'll be in me bunker."
Yes, that was his exact.
Realized he was an Irishman. I was going to give him a few more minutes of leeway, but since he has decided to show up and depart without actually entering, you may present me your case. I will determine whether or not it is sufficient evidence to find the man guilty of attempted murder and sentence him to hang or firing squad.
The first piece of evidence, I'd like to give you something.
You're good, brother.
It is,
Thank you.
sense of all fairness, it is the piece that he brought to the court.
Actually, let's observe the formalities. Where's JJ at?
I'm right out here, Douglas. Do you need me?
Would you please come in? Would you act as my bailiff, open court? Let's do all the formalities, make this official.
Okay. All rise for Judge Douglas Hauser. Gentlemen, ladies, hats off in respect for the court.
Thank you, JJ.
Yeah, I do
You may
believe
be
that
seated.
you must take your hat off there, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
This trial. One moment. My apologies. This trial is a retrial for Cass Grant and the attempted murder of Reginald Miller. In Mr. Grant's absence, we will proceed with a presentation of evidence, at which point in time a judgment shall be made. Sheriff, you may start your case.
Like I said, I would like to present the one piece of evidence that Mr. Cass Grant did bring for a sense of fairness. It is a note from one Jax Reginald with his intentions to have us drop the charge. Just felt that should be presented to you as well, since he's not here to do it himself.
Yeah.
It's commendable, Sheriff.
In the ledger.
Thank you, JJ.
Who's here?
Sheriff, have you verified the origin of this note as actually coming from Jax Reginald Miller?
Or who's there? Who are you
I
talking
have
about?
not spoken with Mr. Miller since the night in question. No.
Understood. You may continue.
Next, I'd like to present the firearms found on Mr. Cass Grant on the night. They were 2 Eastwoods and a shotgun, along with a primitive shiny that was made by one
Oh,
Jack's
shit.
Reginald Miller. You can note has a different maker's mark than the other one. The other 2
He knows
made
he's
by
gonna
Ed,
die, so.
myself.
Okay.
Next, I'd like to present a note presented to me from one Alex Rosewood. The note reads, I, Alex Rosewood, was talking with Cass Grant, and he stated to me that him and his boys wanted to take care of Jax, only admitting that his reason for doing this was because, well, Jax was the one who shot Ren. Him and his boys have a strong moral code about hurting children.
But they didn't.
And I believe this is just another piece of motive between the hatred of Cass Grant and Jack's Reginald Miller.
That group didn't shoot Ren. It wasn't them. It was a different group.
And then I have a note from Miss Jones from the town of Keystone.
Which Jones is
present
doing?
on the night. She claims that he had just fixed some clothing for Jack. Her uncle Jacob had fainted, so she drugged him to the
There's
tailor
4 of
shop
them.
and locked the door. She sat in front of the tailor shop as she checked her pocket. The last 2 people she saw while checking her pocket, Jax and Cass. When she finished checking her pockets, Jax was on the ground in front of her, badly injured. Cass came up after, saw Jax on the ground, and pulled him behind the tailor shop. And a note saying she was unable to attend because of night.
AJ, if you put that in the letterbox, please. Ledger's getting kind of full. Thank you, sir.
Well, then I also have a statement from the Deputy Kate. I do not have the full one because we did not disclose it at the time, but I do have the rest on if you need to see the signature correspond with it.
Were they presented in the first trial?
Yes, not the signature part, but the others were the first 4 parts of the note.
Okay, I will allow it.
It says I was called to Keystone, the street Jacks who had been shot to his bed. I arrived at Keystone and went into the clinic to treat him. Upon arrival into the clinic, Jax was laying on the bed, bleeding from multiple wounds inflicted from a shotgun and pistol. I told him it would have to knock him out to remove the pellets from his chest and arm. Cass Grant was in the room making accusations to him, saying that he was a liar and a bandit. Jax asked if everyone except the person treating him could please leave the room. He had to be asked several times to leave before he would.
Okay, continue.
Next, I'd like to call a witness to the stand. One Standing Water, deputy of Keystone.
Mr. Standing Water was present or called during the first trial, yes?
That is correct.
Very well.
Standing Water, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Deputy Stanton, if you could please, could you walk us through the night in question?
Yes, sir. So that would have been Saturday evening. I was having a conversation off to the side of the town square with some folks, some friends of mine. Over there, the Taylor fella. And some of the other folks. And Cass comes over and he says, "Hey, Stand Water, can I talk to you for a minute?" And
I feel I had to bring new
I'm a
information.
little bit leery of that, but I go over and talk to him because it don't sound good the way he said it. And then as we walking away, he says, "Stand Water, you ain't gonna like this." And I said, "Okay, and that's fine. Just tell me what's going on." And he takes me over to the side of a building, kind of off to the left there of the town, and laying on the ground on the sidewalk there next to the building is a fella just bleeding out, laying there on the ground, shot up. He looked real bad, like real worse for wear. I couldn't tell if he was alive or dead. And I said, "Okay, what happened here?" And he said that is Jax, aka Dima, and he was making threats against Eleanor and Keystone, so I shot him. And I was like, "Okay, well, we'll get that sorted out in a minute. Let's take care of this fella first." So I drug him over to the hospital. The hospital door was locked, so I run over to JT, who was awake at the time. He's the carpenter that lives over there in Keystone. I had him unlock the clinic, and then we put Jax up in the bed there and surmise his condition or anything like that. So we sent some folk out to look for a doctor. Cass himself is a doctor, but thought it would be best to, if the fella that shot him was not involved in his treatment. I didn't have any kind of medical training at all. Apart from handing somebody a bandage, I don't know what to do. So nothing was done until Miss Kate arrived. I did give the fella a bandage at some point, but I don't know if he applied it or not. Looked like he had been shot multiple times with a shotgun, apparently as well as a pistol. When he awoke, he said that he couldn't remember anything. He was ready to leave town to assist Jacob, who was a child that was trapped in a bear trap. And he was going to go see to helping that kid out, and that's the last thing he remembered. I took Cass aside and asked him for further detail, like what the hell happened. How was this fella making threats against Keystone, Eleanor, and such? And he said that is Jax, that's Dima. He's one of the horsemen, and I told him to stay the fuck away from Keystone. Pardon my language. That's what he said. And he said no, so I shot him. And that's the long and the short of what Cass and I discussed as far as what happened there.
And at any point
to patch him up. Go ahead.
Did he indicate if the man pulled a gun?
He did not.
Did it seem Jax Reginald received any medical attention from Cass Grant before Kate arrived on?
No.
Have you ever known Cass to use a firearm on someone in the past?
Oh yes, sir. The Cass does have a history in that regard.
Well, is there anything that night of import that you think the court should?
In regards to leading up to the incident, no. Cass did seek me out to notify me of the situation, which in that case, he didn't have to do that. So that at least, shows his mind state after the fact. But I can't speak to what led up to the event itself. He was, like I said, the details he gave were just that, he told the fella to leave town and he wouldn't, so he shot him. But again, he did find me and tell me about it shortly thereafter, so there's that.
In your professional opinion as a law, is a verbal threat grounds for shooting someone?
No, sir.
I have no further questions.
You may step down, Deputy.
Hey, Del.
Thank you, Judge.
Do you have anything else to add, Sheriff?
Well, just that Mr. Casgrant, as he is a doctor, if he was remorseful of his attack on the man, easily could have applied his trade to try and treat him. There was no such attempt as noted by standing order and the document provided.
Understood.
And there's no evidence that Mr. Jax Reginald Miller is in fact what he is being accused of being called Deem of. That's all I have.
Do you wish to make a closing statement, or do you want the case to stand on its own?
My closing statement, simple as such. Mr. Casgrant, the felony in the past for shooting a man without that man pulling a weapon. Dangerous, impulsive. He had the motivation, the reason, the talent. Was seen before and after with the body. Had no attempt as a doctor to revive the man. He admitted himself that he shot while seeking out law enforcement after the incident. Does not change the fact that he near critically wounded a man. The law on the streets of Keystone.
Thank you, Sheriff.
That's all your.
I am hesitant to condemn a man to die in his own absence. That being said, Casgrant was afforded every opportunity to come into this courtroom and provide a cogent defense for his actions. Not only his failure, but his absolute refusal to do that has left the court no alternative but to declare him guilty of attempted murder and condemn him to death. At this point, all law enforcement in the county is charged with the apprehension of Casgrant, detention of him for 45 minutes prior to his execution.
God damn.
So orders this court. This case is closed.
There it is. Mr. Casgrant is gonna be executed. Pew 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 pew. Everyone dies. Fuck. Oh shit.